This month's Artist Spotlight features a style of art that is distinctively millennial. Cole Jaques is a photographer, new media artist, and musician who manipulates technology to create his own brand of contemporary art. Through deterioration and exploitation in media, he's able to explore different themes and ideas in his artwork. Here's a look at the haunting, nostalgic art of Cole Jaques.
I'm 24, I'm born and raised in Lakeland, Florida, and I'm a photographer and new media artist. Photography was something I picked up in like the 8th grade. I went to Rochelle School of the Arts and they had a photography program, and that was just kind of brand new for me. And I fell in love with Photoshop and the equipment, and it just kind of took off from there. I started taking lessons at the Polk Museum of Art. A lot of my art is very process heavy. It's a result of how it's being altered afterwards. A lot of my art deals with errors and the deterioration of media. I find subject matter that follows a theme or a topic idea that I want to talk about, and then relate it to my overarching theme. For the physical media, for example, with my home series, I was in the process of moving out of my childhood home. Had all these conflicting feelings with that house and with my family at the time. So I wanted to deal with that in a visual way, depicting burning houses. The problem with that is it's illegal to burn down houses, and it's hard to just stumble upon them. So instead of actually getting a burned house, I shot it in film, and I took my film and burned it, destroying the media using a lighter, using a flame, to get warped, distorted kind of aesthetics that I think really carry a decrepit but also nostalgic feeling to the image. I'm really very much into seeing things in a way that I haven't seen before. So when it comes to film, I kind of related a lot with Photoshop because there's so much you can do in the darkroom, there's so much you can do to your film that can get you certain aesthetics that digital photography just absolutely can't. And so I feel with this Burn series, it's an aesthetic, it's an idea that it wouldn't be communicated the same way in a digital photograph. I make glitch art, or data bending, which is where you take an image, because really everything on the computer is just code. Photoshop interprets that code as a picture. However, WordPad might interpret that code differently, as just the only way it knows how. Letters and numbers. And so you can alter those letters and numbers any way you please, and then the end result is something that you would never get in Photoshop. You would never get on purpose. It's designing with accidents. And so that's kind of goes back to that, making art out of errors or exploiting media. This is very much art of the millennial, and I really try to embrace that. I'm very traditional, I started out very traditional, drawing and painting and all the normal art materials that you're used to seeing. I started out with that. Once I hit high school, I went off in my own direction, started collecting TVs just because I thought they were neat, and started messing around with things like glitch art and manipulating photographs. And one of my favorite things that I've done was in the span of glitch art, and it might not be aesthetically the most cool thing ever, but conceptually for me it's mind-blowing. But taking, let's say, a text file of Shakespeare's Hamlet and turning that into a picture, which I do have somewhere around here. But that kind of, like I said, exploitation of the computer blows my mind. Because really, at the end of the day, everything's just ones and zeros. I got really involved in music and a certain type of music which I really connected with. It's a very underground electronic scene of music called chiptune or chip music, which is basically music created on old computer hardware that is using those specific sound chips in order to create music. So I am a part of that. I am a performing musician, and I use a Game Boy. Along with that scene came people who were messing with those consoles, messing with that computer hardware in contemporary ways, because it's old. It's old. At this point, it's toys. It's outdated. Those people really inspired me. I just kind of started coming up with new ideas of what file types I could be using, what programs I could be using. And so that whole scene really birthed this ideology of, I don't know, how I interpret art, how I interpret technology, how I interpret analog technology. I've appropriated this medium to do what I want it to do, and I'm making something new with it. It's my instrument. The screen with code on it is my paintbrush. So that's kind of how I look at things now. So this piece was my final, my senior thesis that I did at Florida Southern, and all of the sounds that you're hearing were created by old technology. And so there's no actual real nature, but it's about humanizing technology. So the TVs are reacting to the sounds that are being played, and those sounds are created by my Game Boy. That's a bad one. They're created by the Game Boy, and the idea is to kind of trick you. I mean, when this was originally set up, they were stacked in a way that were kind of like trees, and the wires were rooted up to the ceiling, and it was like walking through this forest, walking through this natural environment, but it's all technology, from the sounds to what is actually in the installation. This is the ocean. It's a campfire. It's a creek. It's like a cave. I'm always shy to do art events or to show my work to people because it's very much, I always feel like it's something that only I like. I very much make art for me. One of the problems that a lot of people have with understanding contemporary art is it's very much art for other artists. So I hope that people are drawn in because they like the way that it looks. And then I hope that they ask questions from there. It has a lot of explaining to it, but I don't know, I feel like it's worth hearing about and learning about, and when you know what it is, I feel like it can change the perspective of what a computer is, or if you're an artist, how art can be made. The Polk County art scene is absolutely, it's going in great places, especially with galleries and art studios like here at Artifact. There are a lot more people here doing very interesting things than there were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. A lot of galleries are opening up, a lot of small galleries are opening up, and a lot of people are very much into what's new. And that makes me very happy, that makes me very excited, and that makes me very inspired as well.
For more information on the artwork of Cole Jaques, you can follow him on Instagram. Just search for Cole_Jaques_art. You can also support his music by visiting boywithoutbatteries.bandcamp.com.